and welcome to CNN Business Traveller. I'm Richard Quest. This month, reporting from Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, better known as ATL. And on the programme this month, we're going to take you behind the scenes of the world's busiest airport and show you what makes it tick. Atlanta's airport in the southern US state of Georgia is a city in itself. There are 58,000 workers, 250,000 travelers a day, and almost 1 million takeoff and touchdowns a year. One of the unique features that makes Atlanta so efficient as an airport are its 5 parallel runways, allowing for simultaneous takeoffs and landings. It's so big, where to begin? At the heart of the airport, the control tower.
Just down to 150. I've got some football street. Turn it back to level 3. The last west one, spare wings off of the park area. Already
62 heavy contact departure after flight. When you push back off the gate, you're going to be talking to an air traffic controller from the minute you start taxiing to the runway till you get to your final destination. We have 5 parallel runways, and I was working departures off of runway 28. This is 111 contact departure after flight. I'm talking directly to the pilot in the cockpit, and I'm issuing lineup and wait procedures, which means he'll line up on the runway, and I'm issuing takeoff clearances. 32 contact departure. We run 2,700 airplanes a day. Volume breeds complexity here in Atlanta. There's so many aircraft calling for taxi instructions, so many aircraft returning from the landing runways trying to get to the gates. You're asking an air traffic controller what their beverage of choice is, it's probably coffee. You got to stay alert and you got to be focused at all times. Because of the volume that we have here, we run probably about 5 or 6 emergencies a shift. There's a cardiac arrest patient, a woman that's going into labor on an aircraft, people having strokes on aircraft, smoke in the cockpit. That happens here every shift, every single day. And when these aircraft come into the airspace, we get them into the airport as quickly as possible. You probably wouldn't even notice it. It's just another day at work, and the guys, they're professionals. We just keep moving, though. I always liked aviation since being a kid. I used to have a little Matchbox airport that you could fold out and had little die-cast airplanes and stuff like that. It was one of my favorite things I like to play with, but I get to play with them for real. But don't misconstrue what I'm saying. What we do here is extremely important. The sheer volume of what we do every day and doing it without a hiccup. That's job satisfaction enough. You're never going to be outside of an air traffic controller's control, per se, in this country. And they're going to be guiding you home. That 1895 contact departure after flight.
From the planes in the sky to the airport itself. And the man responsible for everything you see, the gates, the terminals, the concessions, putting it all together and ensuring it runs smoothly, is the airport general manager. Here in Atlanta, that's Lewis Miller, who's been running airports for nearly 4 decades. Tell me what your responsibilities incur, or how far you go.
We oversee the operation and management of the entire airport. I work directly for the mayor of the city of Atlanta and the chief operating officer. So all of the airline, we're responsible for the leases, to lease space to people, maintaining the airfield, maintaining the roadway system, terminal facilities going through here, and just making sure the day-to-day operation is smooth. I have about 900 employees that work for me, but there are 58,000 people that work out here, so you can think about the size of it.
I mean, you're responsible for making sure that all the cogs turn correctly.
That's correct. That's what we work with. You know, we work with the FAA for, air traffic situations. We work with the TSA for passenger screening. We have to work very closely with Customs and Border Protection for the international passengers coming in here to have to go through clearance processes. Obviously, we work with the airlines. We have regularly scheduled meetings all the time. It's a partnership of all of us together.
What's your biggest challenge?
Our responsibility is just to ensure that the person that makes the transition from air to ground is a smooth transition, because all of that is ours. Driving through the airport's not us. Flying out of the airport is not us. That's an airline. But everything in between is us.
A lot of our viewers watching, particularly around the world, will sort of say, wow, this is a very big airport.
Yes.
How will you feel if and when it loses the crown, the world's busiest?
I don't think that's going to happen for quite a few years because, you know, the closest right now is Beijing. In Beijing last year, when we were at 95.5 million, they were at 81 million. So there's still a place for them to grow. But, you know, we dominate in the United States. We're by far the largest in the United States. Chicago is second at around 60 million.
Now the impossible question.
Uh-oh.
And I'll make it non-US. Which of the world airports do you admire? As you look around the rest of the world, which ones do you look at and think, I could learn something from them, and they've got a few good...
Obviously, Singapore is one of the finest airports in the world. You get into Korea and China is a very, very, very functionally good airport that works very well. If you look in Europe, you can see some very good connecting hubs, both in Amsterdam and in the United Kingdom, you see some good operations. So you can learn from all of these folks, and we do.
Finally, will you miss it?
Oh, absolutely. This is a tremendous opportunity. You know, Richard, I've been in airports for 37 years. I started in Salt Lake City. I was a director in Salt Lake City. I was a finance director for 6 years, the airport director for 14 years, then the airport director in Tampa for 14, and I've been here for 3. So that
But there's nothing like being the airport director of this place.
Absolutely.
With all those passengers with bags, keeping ATL running is one thing. The view from the cockpit, another challenge altogether. When we come back, navigating ATL from the sky.